Chapter 2, Coco.
Dude, that's awesome! You're going to be spending time with Marinette! It's about time you got out of that tomb! A flash of panic suddenly rushed across Nino's face. I didn't mean it that way.
Adrian let out a small chuckle as he tied his hair back.
Don't worry, Platts called it worse.
Adrian gave a side-eyed look to his mischievous Kwame, who was trying to sneak another chunk of camembert into Adrian's luggage. Nino's face relaxed on Adrian's computer screen. The DJ was surprised to receive Adrian's early morning call, but the change he was already seeing in his best friend was well worth the earliness of the hour. I'll be honest, I'm kind of nervous though. Marinette has been such a good friend to me. I don't want my feelings for her to get in the way, you know? I'd hate to make her uncomfortable, especially since I'll be staying there with her and her family. You still love her, don't you, bro? I never stopped loving her, Adrian admitted. Finding out Ladybug was Marinette only made me love her more, but being aggressed isn't what it used to be. Dude, you know Marinette likes you for who you are, not your last name. Oh, I know that, Adrian clarified. But people see me differently now. Adrian's voice drifted off as he packed his shirts into his suitcase. Nino furrowed his eyebrows. He knew what Adrian meant, that he didn't want his misfortune to adversely rub off on her. Nino really wanted to tell Adrian that Marinette had been crushing on him since college. But Alia had threatened him not to breathe a word. She was of the opinion that the two of them needed to figure this out for themselves since their identities weren't in the way anymore. Nino did agree with her. Not that he had much of a choice, but he still felt his best bro needed a nudge. Well, if you and Marinette don't have any other plans, Alia and I thought we might go ice skating at the Trocadero tomorrow. It's been a while since just the four of us hung out together if you're interested. Adrian's face brightened up. That sounds great! I'm sure Marinette would love to. Nice. I'll let Alia know then. Well, I'll let you go, dude, but remember, Marinette knows how Chat Noir feels about Ladybug. But she needs to know Adrian still feels the same way about Marinette. Adrian looked at him confused. But wouldn't she know that already? Nino slowly shook his head. This is Marinette we're talking about, my dude. Actions can speak louder than words here. You told Ladybug you loved her a dozen different ways. Now you need to show Marinette what she means to you, without trying to kill yourself in the process now. Nino gave him a pointed look, and Adrian rubbed the back of his neck. Take it from a man of experience, he added with a wink. After hanging up with Nino, Adrian carried his suitcase down the winding staircase of the mansion. It never felt much like a home, just a place to sleep at night. Not that Adrian had been getting that much sleep lately either. His footsteps echoing through the empty halls just added to the coldness he had felt being there. With the mansion behind him, Adrian pulled his blue scarf closer around him as he made his way down the footpath. It was refreshing to walk down the street and not be faced with posters of himself everywhere. Well, at least not his civilian self. Many stores still hung thank you banners to the heroes of Paris alongside their Merry Christmas signs. Even if Paris didn't know who their heroes really were, Adrian did, and he loved seeing his friends being honored. Arriving at the bakery, he saw a handmade Christmas wreath with Merry Christmas written across it. Adrian chuckled at the pun. The bell above the door announced his arrival, and as he walked in, the smell of allspice and cinnamon added to the warmth inside. Sabine welcomed him with a motherly hug. I'm so glad you accepted Marinette's invitation to stay with us, she said. We were so happy when she told us this morning. We've all been so worried about you. Thank you for letting me stay, Adrian replied shyly, but Sabine shushed him as she took his coat and scarf. You know we are all here for you, Adrian. You're not alone now. Anything you need, you just come to Mama Sabine, all right? Adrian nodded and followed Sabine up to the family quarters. She showed him to the spare room where they left his bag before returning downstairs to the bakery kitchen. Tom had just taken out a tray of chocolate truffles rolled in coconut from the fridge when he saw the blonde enter the kitchen. Placing the tray down, he walked over to Adrian, wrapping him up in a big bear hug. Good to see you again, Adrian, Tom beamed. I hope you're ready to get your hands dirty. Papa, put Adrian down. Marinette's voice came laughing from across the kitchen. Adrian looked around town to see Marinette walking over, wiping her hands on her apron. Did Mama show you to your room?
Yes, thanks, Adrian said, kissing her on the cheek in greeting and accepting the apron she handed to him. It was festive green with red trims, opposed to her red with green trims. He put the apron on over his head and allowed Marinette to tie it up behind him and tuck his hair into a net like hers was. Tom and Sabine took a tray each out to the bakery. Come over here and I'll show you what to do, Marinette said, walking over to the counter. Plagg popped his head out of Adrian's shirt. Is Sugar Cube here?
Right here,
Tiki waved, exiting Marinette's bag. Come on, I'll take you up to Marinette's room. Everyone has been waiting for you to get here. Plagg waved to his chosen before following his counterpart to go hang out with the other Kwamis. On the counter was a large bowl with a chocolate ganache already made in it. Now, you need to go wash your hands first and run them under cold water. Cold hands stop the chocolate from melting into your hot hands. Well, I can't help being hot, he teased. Marinette chose to try and ignore that comment. So, do I get to eat some when we're done? Adrian asked excitedly. I don't think I've had truffles before. Marinette tried to hide the surprise on her face. No truffles? She asked. Weren't you at least allowed to have a day off from your diet for Christmas? Not really, Adrian said, a little embarrassed while drying his hands on a tea towel. But then again, you always did bring those delicious sweet treats and hot chocolate to patrol. I never felt like I missed out on anything when I knew I had you to look forward to. Marinette could feel her face start to flush. Well, you can have as many truffles as you like, she said with a smile. But we need to make them first. Adrian enthusiastically followed Marinette's lead, taking a small amount of chilled ganache and rolling it into a ball. On one tray was chopped nuts, and on the other was powdered cocoa. Marinette picked up some ganache, showing Adrian how much to roll into a ball before she rolled it in the cocoa and placed it on the tray. See? Now you do the same, but roll them in the chopped nuts. Do you know what one nut said while chasing the other nut? Adrian asked, a glint of mischief in his eyes. I think I'm going to regret this. What? I'll catch you, he said, pouncing on her and tickling her around the waist. Marinette squealed, trying to wriggle out of his grasp without getting ganache all over him. Stop it! She called out amid her laughter. You're nuts! Adrian stopped tickling, but still held her waist. That's about you, my lady. He grinned, but Marinette just rolled her eyes. Silly kitty, she said, poking him in the nose. Now if you want to eat some of these later, we need to get them finished and in the fridge. Adrian reluctantly let her go and started rolling out the truffles. He was annoyed at himself. He pulled a chat move, and she had dismissed it for just his usual flirtiness. He needed to remember what Nino had told him and be more himself. Tom came back into the kitchen to check on their progress, giving Adrian a big thumbs up for his nutty selection. We'll make a baker out of you yet, he chuckled. Adrian couldn't help but be a little proud of himself. Tom then took out another tray with white Christmas bars, placing them on the counter. Grabbing some boxes, he packed the chilled treats into them. When your kids are finished with that batch, how would you like to decorate the Christmas tree in the lounge room? It would be tremendous. Adrian laughed out loud while Marinette groaned. Papa, really? She grumbled, but Tom simply gave her a wide grin and a wink to Adrian before he left the room. Marinette shook her head with a giggle. Here, help me get these in the fridge. They both picked up their trays and Adrian juggled his in one arm to open the fridge door for her. Sliding them in, they would make the perfect afternoon tea for when they finished decorating. Marinette, you've got some cocoa powder on your face. Oh? Marinette exclaimed, wiping her cheek with her hand, only to spread the smear around more. Adrian shook his head with a laugh. Wait, you're making it worse. Hold up. Adrian grabbed one of the tea towels from the counter and carefully took Marinette's chin in his hand. Gently, he began to wipe the cocoa powder from her cheek. Marinette looked up at him as he focused on his task, and a soft pink glow began to radiate across her cheeks. There, he said, looking down into her eyes. He was sure he'd heard her breath catch. We should tree up. Up the tree. Put the tree up. Yes, put the tree up. She fumbled, her face becoming more crimson by the minute. But first, lunch. Was he the reason for that? Adrian wondered and gave her a sweet smile. Show the way, my lady. End of chapter 2.